The Kaiden Sellswords are in contention for the best looking enemies in Elden Ring. Their coats are puffy yet practical, offering you a superior robustness. Obviously, when you're looking for armor, you're looking at the robust factor. Nothing about fashion really matters. They also have giant curved swords, the second longest behind Morgott's, and you can still change the Ash of War on it. That's about it. But maybe all you need for a good build is a cool coat and a big sword. I guess we'll find out. One thing's for sure, since you can get all of this gear before fighting a single boss, that makes this a secret starting class. Hey everybody, this video is sponsored by Squarespace. If you want to watch these runs live, follow us on Twitch. We're finding new ways to play Elden Ring all the time. Join the Patreon to support the channel and check out exclusive videos. Yes, that is George Costanza, and yes, that is a full episode. Finally, make sure you like and subscribe. We are so close to 100,000, and it's my birthday at the end of the month. I want to be at 100,000 before my birthday. Ready to get started? Okay then.
Here I go again, girls, what's my weakness? Okay then.
We're kicking things off as a samurai today. It's got the dex and strength we need for the sword. Hey, we have curved greatswords, which are bigger curved swords, great swords, which are bigger straight swords, great hammers, which are bigger hammers, great axes, which are bigger axes. Where are the great katanas? Where are the great claws? But mostly, where are the great fists? Let me punch people with giant garnet gloves. Our sellsword starts by selling the golden rune to buy the crafting kit so we can make pickles later. Malenia gives us a horse. Hey, that's actually canon. The Kaiden Sellswords use horses. Finally, an accurate video. Literally right down the road we can find our sellswords, the first one on horseback. But Bach, buddy, I need you to shut up. We didn't kill him. Calm down, everyone. Only problem here, we haven't leveled, and getting tag teamed by two sellswords at the same time is kind of overwhelming. Horse combat is also really annoying. I know we did horse combat for the Lindell Knight farm, but that's because the only thing worse than horse combat is great shield combat. So many people seemed confused why we weren't fighting the Royal Knight in Liurnia. I've used lightning spells before. I know that's there. Like, I think I even explained in the video that I was fighting the horse one because it wouldn't have the shield up. This isn't a reading comprehension issue. This is a I heard it explicitly stated and did not understand it issue. Sword drops at number 4, Charmander. Super great luck. From the description: a difficult to handle weapon that demands much of the wielder's strength and dexterity, but with practice and ability, it can serve as a versatile weapon even on horseback. It does not get extra damage on horseback. It doesn't do extra damage to enemies on horseback. It doesn't do more damage when you jump off your horse or dismount. There's no place where it gets extra damage. It's just a curved greatsword. Also, as far as weapon that demands much of the wielder's strength and dexterity, like, dog, are you sure? If you have 13 strength and 16 dex, you can two-hand this and it'll work fine. Oh, it's so difficult to use with stats you get pretty much at the start of the game. Yup. Very, very difficult to handle. On our way to get some upgrades, we grab the strength physic and notice that there are 2 unhorsed Kaidens by the War Master Shack. Also, is it Kaiden or Kaiden? I don't know. I'll say both and make everyone angry and try to rotate it. Everyone gets so angry at all these silly Elden Ring videos. You know these don't affect the housing market, right? We're not ending wars or famine. I'm playing Elden Ring and making Fortnite jokes. After we grab the physic, I decide we can just handle 2 unhorsed Kaidens. We're rewarded for our haste. On number 5, Charmeleon, we get pants. And on number 8, or what would have been number 8, we get died. Yeah, dudes hit pretty hard and have some super armor combos. I'll be real, I'm an overworld enemy skipper. I don't know what any of these dudes do. Apparently they have multiple Ashes of War as well. I'm seeing some sort of roar. Okay, fine. I'm seeing stamp upward cut. Okay, fine. You know what I'm not seeing? Spinning slash, the default Ash of War for the Dismounter. Why do so many weapons come with Ashes of War that aren't even used by the enemies that use the weapon? Gotta remember, 2 at a time is too much. We really need to kite them away from each other, or should I say, kite them away from each other. No, should I? For real. Should I say kite them? I don't know. As far as the farming odds go, the sword is a 1 in 25 chance. All the rest of the gear is around 1 in 33. Pretty standard stuff. Also, I do understand statistics aren't a guaranteed chance. I'm not a toddler. When I point out that we have bad luck farming, I don't think I was owed anything before the standard odds. This section of the run is basically just rolling dice for a result. I am commentating a game of craps. And if someone was rolling a D13 but didn't roll a 13 until they rolled the dice 85 times, that's worth mentioning. Especially when that is the only thing I have to talk about in this section. At number 26, Raichu, we get the hands just like you'll get these hands if you tell me about the gambler's fallacy. Speaking of, we pass the odds and keep going. Not getting it at Rule 34 Nidoking is disappointing. Not getting it at number 43 isn't too odd, but it's oddish. This is a mercifully quick farm. The run back doesn't take too long. We can do it on horseback, and they only take a few hits to kill while being right next to each other. At number 51, Dugtrio, we get the double drop, shirt, and another dismounter. I'm tempted to power stance. Curved greatswords power stance great, but that's not accurate, and we have to be accurate here.
Why? It's the rules.
Look, I'm not totally sure why I care about the rules sometimes and don't give a toot about the rules the other times. The number one rule of these videos is that the rules will be inconsistent. If you thought that the number one rule was don't get grabbed, that's another inconsistency. Final drop, the head on number 62, Poliwrath. Getting head from Poliwrath, don't mind if I do. Now we can finally get the armor description. These hulking, fearless mercenaries, said to hail from the mountaintops of the wintry north, are adept at fighting on horseback. Kaiden is the name of their home settlement. I kind of wish we had an idea who hired them to be in Limgrave. It's like a long way from the mountaintops of the giants. I'm sure there's some closer mercenaries near Limgrave. Maybe it will be on the Spirit Ash, I guess. Speaking of, let's go grab it and a bunch of other stuff. First, let's head through the Mistwood and grab better physic tiers and a charged talisman. Hey, what's the deal with Mistwood? There's woods all around. How could you miss them? If you already heard me make that joke in a Patreon video, be cool about it. The casual fans haven't. Now let's imagine Kaiden mercenaries in Fortnite. What is this, a Mass Effect crossover? Let's beat up the Fort Knight to get the bloody slash and properly carve up those dragon toes later. Hey, what better time than now? Warp out to the Dragon Barrel and run through Fort Pharaoh for the other Dectus piece, then just warp out so the rats don't kill us. I'm not dying to silly overworld enemies today.
You sure about that?
Now let's hack those toes. Oh, I did an incantation cast or pass because people donated for it on Twitch. And this video is going to be a little short, so here's that. Sorry if I said your favorite incantation is bad. Please remember, just because Papa said a spell is bad doesn't mean Papa thinks you're a bad person or playing the game wrong. Lots of people asked to see my incantation cast or pass list. This is for them. If you're a spell enjoyer who doesn't want me to poo-poo on spells, I can't make you happy and make them happy at the same time. Making content universally appealing is an impossibility, so I try to balance between catering to the audience and making something I would enjoy viewing. I don't think you can just make content for yourself. That's a little selfish. There needs to be a balance. My hope is that by putting as much of my genuine self and opinions into a video as I can, that will cultivate an audience that aligns with those opinions, and the gap between serving the audience and being true to myself will become narrower. Much like the Sellswords, I am a mercenary, and I have to decide what parts of myself are for sale. Sorry, we just ran to Liurnia and I had time to kill. What I should have said was, weapons good, spells bad, dismounter stance breaks, Smaragd gets sad. When I say this sword is so good that I kind of zone out for the run, I meant that. I'm writing this script a week after the run, and I don't remember doing it. Full autopilot chatting with the chat style gameplay here. This is an Elden Ring equivalent of getting home from work and forgetting you drove. Raya Lucaria Crystal Tunnel, if you need smithing stones, this is the place to grab them. I'm guessing you probably know that already, but I'll make a YouTube short explaining it in May of 2024. I'll have someone make a Tulok avatar with big hairy pectoral titties to show off. Could help someone. Me. It would help me get views. Crystallion gets bashed down. Curved greatsword is basically the same as a greatsword. They are in the same category of stance pressure, and that's pretty rad. Bellum Highway will lead us to the Altus Highway, which will lead us to the Sealed Tunnel. Did you know that the smithing stone bell bearings are a great way to level up a standard smithing stone weapon early? Onyx Lord is a pushover with heavier weapons. His poise breaks really easily. That breaks his stance, gets the crit. Do you see why this is an autopilot run? Weird thing, the Cliff Bottom Catacombs has both the Page Spear Spirit Ashes and the Kaiden Sellsword Spirit Ashes. Why is that weird? Because the Sellsword beat the page on the poll to become this video. Wasn't intentional, just a weird coincidence. Erdtree Burial Watchdog time. If you hit the Watchdog with damage, it dies. Did you know that? Helpful Elden Ring advice in May of 2024. That drops the Sellsword Spirit Ashes from the description. Spirit of a mercenary belonging to horse-riding folk. Skillfully uses a massive blade made for dismounting other riders and enhances his already considerable strength with war cries. The Sellswords of Kaiden made their prowess known on countless battlefields. So no info on who hired them. Probably Godric? It's just such a long commute from the mountaintops. I don't get it. Hey, also, gonna complain more. What else is new? Why does the Dismounter not do extra damage to mounted foes or while mounted? They even have a mounted combat boost in the game with the Lance Talisman. The effect is in the code. Or just give a bonus damage to the jump attacks, like when you dismount your horse as a dismounter. It's called the Dismounter, but it doesn't do any dismounting stuff.
And if you have a problem with that, then you can talk to our complaint department. It's a trash can.
Our Sellsword wants to get paid in glovewort. Okay.
No one ever pays me in.
Grave Glovewort. Weeping Peninsula first, also for flask upgrades, gotta love the flask upgrades, then the Caelid Catacombs, and then boogie all the way up to Mount Gelmir, only to go down the Gelmir hero's grave and fight our rivals, the pages. One page. We fight one page. I'm adding headcanon that the pages and Sellswords are enemies. You can't arrest me for my thoughts. All we need now is the runes to level up our sword. I guess we're also paying them in money. The weed is just a bonus package. Who would win, Clean Rot Duo or Sellsword Duo? We won't know because I don't have enough mind to summon a Sellsword. Damn, how many methods of payments are we giving them? These Sellswords must be super flexible with their payments. Almost as flexible as your website will be with today's sponsor, Squarespace. That's right, gamers, this video is sponsored by Squarespace. How many toy swords would a Sellsword sell if a Sellsword sold How many toy swords could a Sellsword sell if a Sellsword sold? How many toy swords could a Sellsword sell? How many toy swords would a Sellsword sell if a Sellsword sold toy swords? I don't know, but they'd probably sell a lot more with today's sponsor, Squarespace. With Squarespace, you can accept so many different kinds of payment on your website. Credit cards, PayPal, Apple Pay, even Afterpay and ClearPay if you want to give the customers the option to buy now and pay later. Squarespace will also make sure your website's looking nice and hot with guided design system Squarespace Blueprint. Start your website with a professional base and then let Blueprint guide you to make the unique look you need for your business. I don't know how you're going to incorporate a big fluffy code into your design, but Squarespace Blueprint sure does. Squarespace even helps you figure out where your customers are with dedicated analytics to figure out who's buying the toy swords you're selling, even if they're not in your local neighborhood. You could work in, say, the Mountaintops of the Giants and still find work in Limgrave. And this is all so easy to do. I set up our website on your work computer in an afternoon because I thought it'd be fun, and because I wanted to help you stretch those lunch breaks to make sure you're getting the most out of your paycheck. I think you should start using Squarespace today, right now. Put the video over on the other monitor. We all know these videos are meant for the other monitor anyway, and get started with your website today. Go to squarespace.com to start your free trial, and when you're ready to publish, go to squarespace.com/tulokmango and enter offer code tulokmango at checkout for 10% off your first website or domain. Thanks again to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to those fluffy coat people.
My father got a deal from a friend of his. It's Gore-Tex. You know about Gore-Tex?
Margit first, avast ye matey, this sword looks like a damn machete and we're carving through this early game stuff like Jason Voorhees. Only difference, we're targeting virgins. Morgoth, definitely not going on a lot of dates. We'll use the runes to level up our partner in crime, then hit Gostok, another member of the Chaste Club. Sounds like a terrible sandwich. I guess at least you don't need condiments for it. Godric has a lot of arms, but those are just extra arms for us to slice off, although he helps us out in the phase transition. Thanks, dude. But you could just surrender, instead of bashing your own arm off like Tim the Toolman Taylor. With Godric's Great Rune activated, we now have enough mind to summon Kaiden Alenko. He gets a bad rap, mostly because the other human squad mates are pretty trash. Remember, you can't spell trash without Ash and Miranda, but I'm bad at spelling. Raya Lucaria time, did we take a contract to off a dog? That's That's dark. Or is this a dog is in the way situation? I bet it was untrainable and bad at hunting. I just kind of want to dance with Moongrim on the elevator, and we're ready to take on Renala and her kids. Ooh, economy's gotta be rough. So is the damage. Phase 1 is a 2 cycle.
You must be so embarrassed!
Power up in phase 2, just get in there with another guy. He hits pretty hard, and he's so much taller than us. 5'11" versus 6 feet, am I right, gamers? Wait, we haven't killed Patches yet? Let's fix that. Nerd juice first, make extra juice. Blood juice. Ketchup is tomato blood. Patches just gets slap chopped. You're gonna love it.
You're gonna love my nuts.
Jaren hired us for a group job. Hates splitting the rate, but oh well, times are tight and so is this sword. Radon tries to snipe us with his arrows, but you can actually skip his arrow phase by charging at him and attacking him with a curved greatsword. Hit him enough and you can skip his sword phase by killing him. The best removal is player removal. Into Radon's hole, we'll fight a mimic tier. It's kind of weird that the Kaidens aren't a boss anywhere. I don't really get the distinction between them as a boss and Crystallians as a boss. Like, I know they run around Limgrave. There are stray Crystallians in Liurnia. I don't know. I think they could have cut one of the 4 Erd Tree Burial Watchdogs and put a souped up Kaiden somewhere. Oh well. There's one in this run. The mimic tier. I took his sword away. What a dork. Start all the torches and then fight a moose. I see why we were hired to do this. Obviously, it's something anyone could do themselves, but no one's gonna waste their valuable time. That's always how I decide whether I hire someone for a task. Like, would I be willing to pay not to waste the time doing this? Yes. Get ready for the future runs where I hire someone on Fiverr to beat the Ancestor Spirit, and Rykard, and the Gargoyles, and Fia's champs. Carry a manor. If the price is right, Loretta, come on down. You're the next contestant to get sliced and diced by this permanently parked person. Dismounter doesn't have bleed like the Bloodhound Fang. It's just raw slashing damage, which is pretty great for bosses that don't bleed. Ronnie's got a job for us, and thank God nobody has to die. She just wants us to get her a knife so she can make someone else die.
When these video games become so violent!
We could probably grab the Mimic tier on the way to have better versions of the Sellsword Ash, but he's doing fine. I haven't complained about him, and I won't. He really is just one of those ashes that asks, what if there was another guy who was fine? In Cell Rivermaid, Noxtella, and the Lake of Rot can just be skipped. They don't have anything we need. Since we have 40 plus vigor, the rot doesn't kill us. Astel might be a concern. It's a big old space shrimp, and it even gets us with a big nasty grab, but then it does the tail drill, my favorite move to punish. Huge damage. It wasn't even close, except when it was, very, very close. God, does shrimp sound good to anyone else after that? Maybe it's because we're by the boil prawn shack. Raya asked us to get her necklace back, and she wasn't specific about how, so, murder? Sure. Seems wild that she has teleporting powers but can't get a necklace back? Oh well, nothing happened in Volcano Manor. Okay.
You saw nothing.
Anyway, we'll go through Volcano Manor, and it goes fine, making it to the Godskin Noble. He's weakest to slash. Guess what kind of damage the curved greatsword does? Seriously, guess. Type it in the comments. This will be on the test. It feels so cool to just hang out inside the Black Flame Ritual Circle, and even cooler when that pays off with a stance break. Just a pushover with this. Curved greatswords are trying to weasel into my favorite category, but great hammers are just always going to be my goats. I compliment them in runs that use good weapons. I mean, I'd rather talk about great hammers than the Serpent Hunter. Not that the Serpent Hunter's bad, he just used it in the Rykard fight, and I hate it here. More interesting, I got a new pocket. I could put anything in there. Seriously, what do I even put in there? I don't need anything.
I like turtles.
When in doubt, turtle it out. Valiant gargoyles are going to be a bigger pain. They resist slash because they're made of rocks. Try cutting a rock in half, see how that goes for you. Then try to cut 2 rocks in half while they fly around and vomit poison. It's easier when you have 2 big swords, but honestly not much better. The double poison floor is a special kind of hell, a poison kind of hell. And Kaiden Alenko dies, so we have to do the rest of the fight by ourselves. First try, just messy as hell. We can slash up the ants on the way to deeproot, then go toe to toe with Fia's champs. Or I guess toe to 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 toe with them. Total of 7 people in the fight. Was that a total of 7 toes? Who knows? But we whiffed, so we died. I really miss fighting the Draconic Tree Sentinel. Like, I get that we have to fight Fia's champs anyway, but these dudes suck, and the Valiant Gargoyles suck, and I always save them for last with Rykard, who sucks, so I just suck, and toe before the capital, and I get in such a bad mood.
You don't mind sucking on toes?
Actually, Jack, I do mind. I do mind sucking on toes. At least we still look cool. I feel like this coat reminds me of something. Just can't put my finger on it.
I'm gonna pop some tags. Only got $20 in my pocket.
I think we were too mean to Macklemore. Hot take, thrift shop? is a bop. That song is not about love, inflating one's ego, violence, or sadness. It is about great deals at Goodwill. I love songs about niche experiences that are all very human and we can all relate to. There are worse people we could be mad at, like this Erdtree avatar in the royal capital. How dare you use Elden Stars Jr. when I can't get on horseback? You might think I'm vamping a lot this video, and you're damn right I am. It is hard to talk about pros and cons of this weapon because it only has pros. It's long, it's big, it's fast, and it's damage. It doesn't really have cons. Our armor is solid. We don't have to level a bunch of stats. I guess I'll clarify how we're leveling up. We're using strength on the sword. At first, it's the best way to do damage fastest, then we're going to start investing in dexterity to eventually shift over to quality. Honestly, I probably should have done arcane and mixed it up between occult and bleed. At this point though, aren't we just kind of making Bloodhound Fang at home? No, this would actually have had more bleed. Bloodhound's Fang doesn't scale with arcane after all. The raw damage on Bloodhound Fang is a lot better though. I'm certainly not saying Dismounter is better than Bloodhound Fang. Situationally though, it could be more useful. You could make an argument for it. Godfrey Shade time, we do damage to it until it loses. Then put a 3-minute timer on. It's time for a minor test of DPS. Morgott gets completely messed up, absolutely sauced, stance broken, face slashed, body bashed, boss fight trashed. Easily clear it within 3 minutes. The Dismounter is simply too good, or maybe I'm too good. Maybe after 100 of rounds through the game, I've just gotten too good at it. Sometimes I see people requesting a deathless or hitless run in the game and like, I don't want to get that good. That'll make the game less fun for me. I'm kind of worried I'm too good for the game to be fun already. The only way that I can make the game fun is to do weird bad stuff that actually makes it not fun. It's so hard to balance. Does that make sense? 4 Biden lands. For those who don't know, Tulok and Mango went to the Art Institutes, which was a scam school that had real debt. And Brandon just canceled our federal debt because the government shut it down for fraud a while ago. So yeah, that makes sense that that got canceled. But also today, Brandon gets 1 pass. Just today though. Next week, we're back on.
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
Thanks to the Bell Bearing 3, we can get this sword up to plus 18. Then we run through the Mountaintops of the Giants, our home. There are some in the Consecrated Snowfield, which is kind of part of the Mountaintops of the Giants, but North and South Dakota are 2 different places. 2 different, but both terrible places. Let's take out a giant. We get a stance break during the roll and get another one before phase 2. Kind of a bummer. I would have preferred to get it at the start of phase 2, but I'm not calculating these hits. We do get another one in the second phase though, and his head lands right next to us. Time for a haircut. I'm feeling naughty. Every win is big, but this win is giant. Faram Azula is breaking down, but I'm sure it's fine. Probably perfectly safe to run around here, especially since the Godskin duo are weak to slashing damage. Got a little greedy going into that Black Flame ritual. It certainly shredded our squad member, but when the Chunky goes for a rollout and we're on the column, our sword is long enough that we get to keep hitting him. Fantastic. After doing a few runs in a row with a Chode, I am loving the length today. Swag, jump, bird, run. Malekith gets hit with the sword a lot. It just kind of happens. The reach helps us hit Gideon, not that he was all that hard to hit anyway. Third boss, super fast, Godfrey. Well, I hope it's fast so we can save the pickle. We get a little low there in phase 1 and get grabbed in phase 2, but otherwise it's smooth sailing and curved sword flailing. Radagon is pretty regularly a mood killer. Can he end the streak? Maybe. Phil got a little too greedy there. Heal. Okay, thank God, he healed. I'm happy he can hear me when I speak through space and time. Elden Beast blows up the Sellsword. I'm noticing he dies pretty quick, but to be fair, he's only plus 7. I don't really feel the need to bring him to plus 10. I don't think we need him at all. Like, we could stop summoning, I guess, but why? Spirit Ashes are an intentional part of the game. Should I stop drinking the Physic Flask too? That makes the game easier. There's no difference between using a Physic Flask and a Spirit Ash to make the game easier. People are just weird about Spirit Ashes. We've done plenty of S tier runs without Spirit Ashes, just because they didn't fit the lore. Sure, they're helpful, but that's why you use them. At the end of the day, getting good is a skill issue. Not in a mean way. Skills come from practice. Talent refers to an innate ability. If you want to compliment an artistic friend, call them skilled, not talented. They worked hard. Getting good at Elden Ring is a skill issue, not a talent issue. Make the game easier for yourself so you can practice. Anyway, vamping. Let's go get the super bosses. Mercenaries gotta do the work. Today, we're working overtime. First things first, we might have enough dexterity to make quality better. Let's go grab the iron wet blade. Looks like after crunching the numbers, no. Still better as heavy. Okay, Castle's Hole next. It's the path to so many remembrances. It's the path to 2 remembrances. One of which you can get from another path, but whatever. Niall and his gang of goons are no match for us. We're the true gooners. I can't believe Elden Ring was censored. Niall used to have his whole Niall-lussy out in the boss fight, and now I can't rally my standard to this video game, if you know what I'm talking about. Truly, this is the First Amendment issue of our time, oppressing the most put-upon group in history, gamers. Anyway, this blade is stellar. I like that the game is still good, even when I'm not stamping my cut upward while I play it, if you know what I'm talking about. In the consecrated snowfield, let's check if quality is better than heavy yet. No. Penguin Noble, prepare to be zoned out, as I'm zoned out as we're playing. Reach is such an important factor in a weapon's usefulness, and it just makes it so much safer. Reach is almost as important to your defenses as your armor is. Then we bully the Sanguine Noble in the Blood Cave so we can buy some rune arcs in case we need them. Don't think we're gonna need them. Moog is a DPS test, so we're winning. Hit him with the damage, and then go on a big long rant about AI being useless. In conclusion, AI, more like, I hope you find some bitches. Seriously, I'm watching the VOD as I write this, and this is the most disconnected stream Phil has ever been from the gameplay. The sword is just playing the game by itself. Like AI! What if there was an AI that could beat Elden Ring? An AI that could beat Elden Ring would be so good at beating Elden Ring. We don't have one, but the sword kinda is that. Placidusax is a dragon. It has fire, we have sword, and I'm paying attention here. Slash is bad against Placy. We get a nice crit after a short combo on the head. Then, can we get good positioning on the Omega Laser today? No, but we can live it through 60 vigor. Getting good is also a getting 60 vigor issue. I've seen quite a few people saying investing in vigor is also cheating. So to clarify, the list is Spirit Ashes, investing in vigor, using Ashes of War, using spells, haha by the way, and using bleed. If you want a legit run, you just can't do any of those things, and you're golden. Now you're playing the game as it was intended, without doing all the things that were intentionally put into the game. Carry and study all, get the curse mark of death, get the hug mark of also death, and fight Fortisax. Hit those toes. We're giving this dragon a pedicure, and it's gonna feel and look amazing after this. Fortisax has been so down in the dumps ever since Godwin died. Get out there, girl, I think. Get out there, creature haunting the dreams of the dead. That's my favorite gender. Light up everything in the liturgical town. This is only dangerous when I do commissions. Seriously, I get weirdly terrible at dodging the arrows in the commissioned runs. Check it out on Patreon if you want. We just added some new ones, depending on when this video comes out. Schedule's weird right now with the big dumb long videos we're working on. I keep getting distracted, and even get distracted on the way down to Loretta. And then in the fight against Loretta. Victory has defeated us. I'm too comfortable that my head's not in the game. It's like I'm meant to be a basketball man, but then I found out singing fun too?
Just keep your head in the game. You gotta get your head in the game.
Fun fact, the first video Corey and I worked on for Elden Ring was going to be more of a full edited co-op let's play. I was building my character to be Troy Bolton, aka a wild cat with claws and lightning spells. For some reason, we edited one episode of it but never put it up. It was pretty good stuff. Would have just been so much more effort every week, and we couldn't keep that up sustainably. I went to go find it and thought, oh, that could be fun for the Patreon, but at some point I must have cleared it out to make space. So sorry.
Gone. Reduced to atoms.
Anyway, just one more lady, and she is a doozy sometimes, and sometimes we win first try. Every now and then I get tempted to put like 20 minutes of nothing at the end of these videos just to add to the suspense. Throw an episode of Cheers in there so you can't check the timestamp. Anyway, it's not a first try win. We get duckied. But I'm not bringing the other Kaiden. Not because I want a proper challenge or whatever. Rather, I just think he'd make the fight harder. I only want to make things easier. He heals her. I don't like that. I just want to put her in a stamping combo. Attempt 3, we do make it to phase 2, but the onion decides to be accurate. Good for the onion. Then back to the stamp show. If you don't know, here's how stamping works. Stamp her, knocks her up into the air, then get her for a charged attack as she stands up. Depending on your weapon size, you only need 1 or 2 more more hits for a crit. Then repeat by stamping as she stands up from the crit. It works great in phase 2 too. Don't get me wrong, like most Malenia cheese strats, it's not perfect. Hey, we died 3 times. But it's pretty consistent and still works in phase 2. A lot of cheese strats fall off in phase 2. Generally, you can at least get her into the second onion without her deciding to bullshit you with some super armor to break the combo and then start the combo over again. If she super armors out of it, you lose. On attempt number 4, she didn't, and we won. So at 5 hours and 41 minutes, we beat 34 bosses and died 10 times. This ends up putting it above the Bloodhound Knight in S tier. So, am I saying the Dismounter is better than the Bloodhound Fang? Nah, I'm just better at the game. I do see people asking if I'll ever go back to do old builds to fix the tier list because I've gotten better and I didn't give the weapons like a fair shake because I wasn't good at them and now I'm better. But like, when would I do that? Because I'll just keep getting better at the game as long as I keep playing the game. I guess it's an endless stream of potential content for me, but there's still so much I haven't gotten to try. Like I haven't gotten to do the Rusted Anchor yet, or the Nebula Sword, or the Nebula Flail. I mean, I haven't done a single flail run. So I just feel like I kind of want to keep going forward and doing new stuff rather than going back and doing stuff I've already done. And if that means that the tier list is inaccurate, okay. I mean, what's the tier list do for a society as a whole?
What's that do for the greater good?
You know, like it's a tier list for the Elden Ring videos. These don't matter. They're just fun things you watch while you eat lunch or to make your poop breaks longer. So anyway, the Dismounter, it is comparable to the Bloodhound Fang. It's longer. You can change the infusions on it. There isn't innate bleed, but if you invest in Arcane, you can actually have more bleed than the Bloodhound Fang. It just doesn't hit as hard raw, and you have to farm it, which can be annoying. Honestly, if you're looking for a weapon and it has great in the category name, but isn't followed by the word bow, you should have a great time. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe for more. We should have another big, dumb, long video out soon. Join the Patreon if you want to support the channel and watch some exclusive videos, and join the Twitch to watch these runs live. We'd love to see you there, as long as you're not weird.